Today we're taking a look at these NHL matches, which are happening on Friday, April 21st, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money, and if you are interested in props and parlay picks, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link to our Patreon and to our new channel in the description and comment section below. Carolina Hurricanes vs Islanders. The Islanders have really struggled offensively this season. They've scored an average of just 2.95 goals per game, the 11th fewest in the NHL, on an average of 30.8 shots per game. They've generated the 13th fewest expected goals, 3.11 per game, and the 13th most high-danger shots in the league. The Isles have struggled on the power play, ranking third worst in the NHL, scoring on just 15.8% of their chances. Brock Nelson leads them in scoring with 75 points, 36 goals, and 39 assists. They'll get back their superstar forward Matthew Barzal for the playoffs. To make up for their poor offensive play, the Isles have been fantastic defensively. They've allowed the 5th fewest goals in the NHL, allowing an average of 2.65 goals per game on an average of 31 shots allowed per game. They've given up the 16th fewest expected goals, 3.11 per game, and the 11th most high-danger shots. The Islanders have killed off 82.2% of their penalties, the 9th best in the NHL. The Islanders played really well in both of the first two games of this series in Carolina, and I expect them to keep this series competitive and close with a must-win game at home tonight on Long Island. Although the Canes are better statistically on both ends of the ice in this matchup, the Islanders have had opportunities to win both games on the road and came just short in both games. Despite the stats, I expect the Islanders to win. Take the Isles to win at home to turn this into a competitive series. I really like the under in this series with two top 5 defenses going at it. The under hit in Game 1 went over by a goal for each team. The Hurricanes have allowed just the 2nd fewest goals in the NHL, and they've given up the fewest expected goals and the fewest high-danger shots in the league, along with having the 2nd best penalty kill in the NHL. The Isles have been fantastic defensively. They've allowed the 5th fewest goals in the NHL, having given up the 16th fewest expected goals in the league, backstopped by one of the best goaltenders in the NHL in Ilya Sorokin. Take the under here in Game 3. Boston Bruins vs Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers were expected to take another big step forward in 2022-23, and while they managed to just sneak into the playoffs, they've flown well under the radar and after a big win last time out, are seemingly ready to take the fight to the favored Bruins. In their past 10 games overall, the Panthers have come away with a 7-3 record, as well as being 5-1 in their past 6 games following a win, and with all of their offensive stars flying at the moment, expect them to bring the energy back home. The Boston Bruins hardly struggled at all throughout the regular season, but after a big 6-3 loss in Game 2 of the series, they're on the verge of being in must-win territory in this series, making Game 3 in Florida one of the most important games all season long. Their track record for bouncing back, however, is quite good, as they are 38-14 in their past 52 games played against teams with a winning record, as well as being 44-20 in their past 64 games played on the road, meaning that they're still a heavy favorite in this series. Even after making it close in Game 1, few people gave the Panthers a chance in this series that was expected to be dominated by Boston, but now, the series is just heating up, and Game 3 should be the most important for both teams. Unfortunately for the Panthers, however, the Bruins have an impressive 36-16 record in their past 52 head-to-head matchups, and with captain Patrice Bergeron potentially getting healthy, this should be a statement game for Boston. Take the Bruins with the money line. After a high-scoring affair in Game 2, there's no reason to expect anything different from two of the most high-power defenses in the NHL, with the over being 5-1 in the past 6 head-to-head meetings between these two teams. In the Bruins' last 11 games played on the road, the over sits at 10-1, and for Florida, the over is 3-1-1 in their past 5 games, when their opponent allows 5 or more goals in their last game, so expect plenty of scoring opportunities once more in this matchup. Keep it simple, take the over. Dallas Stars vs Minnesota Wild. The offense was good for Dallas this season. They ranked 7th in goals per game and 14th in shots per game. Jason Robertson led the team with 109 points. Robertson ranked 7th in goals in the league. Jamie Benn had 78 points, Joe Pavelski had 77 points, and Roope Hintz had 75 points. The offense struggled in Game 1 scoring just 2 goals, but bounced back in a big way in Game 2, scoring 7 goals. Rupins has 4 goals and an assist in this series. The defense and goaltending have both been excellent for the Stars this season. They rank 3rd in goals against per game and 9th in shots against per game. The Wild were not very good offensively this season. They rank 23rd in goals per game and 18th in shots per game. Kirill Kaprizov led the Wild with 75 points and 40 goals. Matt Zuccarello had 67 points. Minnesota scored 3 goals in each of the first 2 games of the series. The defense was slightly below average, but goaltending was very good for the Wild this year. They rank 6th in goals against per game and 17th in shots against per game. This is an excellent series between the Stars and Wild. They split the series 2-2 during the regular season, and the playoff series is even at 1-1. This is a fairly even series with 2 good teams. Minnesota stole Game 1 in overtime and now gets 2 home games. With Fleury struggling so much in Game 2, look for the Wild to go back to Filip Gustavsson in Game 3. Gustafsson started Game 1 and was excellent in the net, stopping 51 out of 53 shots faced. During the season, Gustafsson had a record of 22.97 with a 2.10 GAA and .931 SV%. He has been excellent and deserves to get the nod moving forward. With the series going to Minnesota, the Wild will win Game 3 after a horrendous Game 2. Minnesota will win Game 3 of the series and take a 2-1 lead. Take Minnesota on the money line. Edmonton Oilers vs Los Angeles Kings. After losing to the Kings in Game 1 of this series, giving up 4 goals, they were on the right side of that number in the 4-2 Game 2 win. The team was up 2-0 after the first period before giving up 2 in the second and then scoring 2 in the third. 4 different players for Edmonton lit the lamp, including Leon Draisaitl, who also had 2 assists. Stuart Skinner, 29-14-5 2.75 GAA, stopped 22 of the 24 shots he faced after giving up 4 goals on 35 shots in the Game 1 loss. Likely MVP Connor McDavid led the NHL this season in goals and points, and he had an assist in the last game, but does not have a goal in the last 4 games. Draisaitl ranks 2nd in the league in points and 4th in goals, and he has 3 goals and 2 assists in the first 2 games of this series. On the season, the Oilers are 27-11-3 on the road, and they have won 19 of their last 26 road games. On the season, the Kings are averaging 3.34 goals per game and are giving up an average of 3.10 goals per game. Adrian Kemp leads the team with 41 goals and had an assist in the last game after scoring 2 goals in the Game 1 win. Ans Kopitar leads the team in points, and he failed to register a point in the last game after a big Game 1 with a goal and 3 assists. On the season, the Kings are 26-11-4 at home, and they have lost 6 of their last 8 home games facing the Oilers. Not only is this Western Conference playoff series tied at 1-1, but the team split the 4 meetings this season. The Kings lost Game 2 but have a home ice advantage. I think Copley will get the start and play pretty well, even though he did not have the best game of the season in the finale. I would think Skinner would get the call to start after his solid Game 2 performance. However, I think he will revert back to the Game 1 way where he gave up 4 goals. While the Oilers scored 4 goals in the last game and are the highest scoring team in the league, the Kings will have a good defensive effort, get the win, and take the lead in this series. The total went under in the last game, and that has been the winning pick in 6 of the last meetings between these Pacific Division rivals. I look for that trend to continue, and the main reason is the Kings will play solid on the defensive side of the ice. I think Copley will get the start, and while he will not shut down the dynamic attack of the Oilers, he will play well in between the pipes. Skinner was solid in Game 2 and not so much in Game 1, and I look for LA to get some goals off him in this game, but not many. Still, with the Kings playing a good game on D in front of their home crowd, the under is the pick for this game. Take the under 6.5 goals.